This is my very first episode breakdown review that I've ever done, so please be patient with me. So, yes, with that said, House of the Dragon is currently out. The first episode, that is, Son of a Son. That's how it's titled. So, yeah, let's briefly talk about it and, let's just explore. Hello and welcome to today's episode. We're going to be breaking down the first episode of House of the Dragon. And I'm not like an avid, as in like a nerd for Game of Thrones. Yes, I know some lore from it, including House of the Dragons as well, meaning I know how it's going to end. I know the basics about the story. So even getting into the show, I usually know what is going to happen, although not like in detail. There are people who like could recite everything. They know the names. They can tell from the maps where these people are moving around to and from. And the channels that I love listening to and I'll listen to after doing this review is this guy is called The Heavy Spoilers, Think Thrones, and Emergency Awesome. Those are people that when I need information about Game of Thrones, I usually go to them. So yeah, even if you watch this video, you can go to them. They are much versed in Game of Thrones lore. So yeah, with that said, episode 1 is off to a strong start because remember it's been 2 years. It's been 2 years. I don't know why these networks or other streaming services are taking this long to just produce 10 or 8 episodes. But I think they said they would reduce the timeline. Hopefully the season 3, which has already been renewed, will not take that long, So yeah, it's off to a solid start. We find Rhaenyra in the midst of mourning the death of Lucerys, but that's not particularly the opening sequence. I thought that the opening sequence was really good because it starts with the crows, the messenger crows, just going around different kingdoms, relaying the messages of who they should take their allegiance to, either the Greens or the Blacks. So all these different houses, or rather the Blacks and the Greens, are trying to communicate with other houses to choose a side. So yes, there's that, and there's also whatever I had mentioned, Rhaenyra mourning the death of her son. She's trying to look for closure. Remember, she's just been told her son was literally devoured by Vhagar. So she doesn't even have a body. So she's in search of at least some proof. When you hear a loved one has gone, you want to see that proof, and she's in the midst of looking for that proof. We find Daemon and Rhaenys and the husband, all of them just trying to figure out how they're going to protect themselves, because they know there's a war that is looming. There's a war that is looming. It is there. It is coming. There is no doubt about that. So we find Daemon, and I feel like this is now the Daemon people should know. Daemon is not a particularly good person. I know the internet, everyone and their mother loves Daemon, and also Aemon as well, but particularly Daemon. But Daemon is not a good person. Daemon is a man who just loves power, and he doesn't necessarily love Rhaenyra. That I would not say that. Even Rhaenyra herself, I think it's a union of convenience. It's a union of convenience. Rhaenyra knows Daemon is going to protect her regardless of whatever, because she is his blood. She is his blood. Yes, she is his blood. And Daemon already made peace with the fact that he's not going to be king, but he can be close to that aspect of power, and he is always looking for every or any reason to just go ham, just to burn the earth, just to look for blood. He has this thirst for blood. That's just how he is. That's just Daemon. So yeah, we see him, he's just itching for war. He's just anauliza itatoka wapi. He's just asking who is going to make that next move for everything to just blow, and you can see it even as he's pushing Rhaena to just we need to go and attack Vega. You, Caraxes, and Melis, the two dragons, they can obviously take Vega. Actually, they are the only two dragons who can, because they are the only two dragons who have actually experienced war, unlike the other dragons. So you get to see where he's coming from also. Alicent is also an interesting character, as I usually say. For me, I'm always sympathetic with her. Because I see where she's coming from. In this particular episode, we see her being very remorseful. She knows whatever has happened is wrong. She knows whatever Aemon did was wrong. And she's very sympathetic with Rhaenyra because she just lost her son. And we see her sympathy even in the council, where she's like, I've written to Rhaenyra a couple of times to apologize, and there's this guy who says, okay, apologize for what? Apologies for killing my son. As in, it doesn't make sense, but you see her trying to reach out and just try to make peace, or rather just say sorry. So this episode, especially towards the beginning, is more of it's more of a mother's episode, I would say, because you see both mothers trying to grapple with whatever is happening. Rhaenyra is mourning. Rhaenyra is also trying to protect her sons, and also trying to sympathize with a friend once, because before they left for Dragonstone, Akina Rhaenyra, they were in really good terms. They were finally probably coming together to probably renew or just love each other. Maybe not as before, but not hate each other and see each other as competition. So for me, that's why I'm usually very sympathetic with Alicent. To even see her go pray, and she just knows that disaster is about to strike. And yeah, for me, that's why I felt very sympathetic to her. You see her being surrounded by very weird people. The feet guy, forget his name, is probably spying on her, and she's been up to a couple of things with Sir Christian Cole. This guy, Hana Msimamo, he has no standing. He either wants, I don't know, but anyway, to each their own. So yeah, you find her being in a very weird place. Her situation with Christian Cole, her trying to be sympathetic with Rhaenyra, and also her being just trying to protect herself from all these people who are probably just trying to take advantage of her, and probably her sons as well, especially Aegon. The other thing that was a bit interesting was Aegon the Second, the king. He has this similarities of Joffrey, and people really just hated Joffrey. And Joffrey was a character that was created to be hated, And I feel like the actor that did Joffrey's role did it so well, but it's so unfair, the hate he got from it, to a point where I think his role as Joffrey was what made him stop acting, which is really, really sad. People need to separate characters. You should be able to separate an actor and a character, And Aegon is taking on that Joffrey role very well. I don't think he's going to be as ruthless as Joffrey was, but he's going to play at that borderline, And we see him just taking on this role as king, and he's not like completely serious. He's even taking his son, and his son should be in these meetings to just know what is going to be happening, because he's future king. And the son, I think, is already like 3 or 4, so he understands nothing. But he's just a menace, He's just a menace, but he's not particularly bad. That's the thing. Because I remember even when he was about to be crowned king, he was like, I'm not supposed to be king. My father already said he wanted Rhaenyra to be queen. So he understood that there was undermining that was being taken, that was taking place on behalf of the mother and the grandfather, the king's hand, Yeah, Aegon is just being Aegon. Aemon is also Aemon. We don't see much of him. We just see him and his dragon, And Aemond is in a place where we see that Aemond would be suited better as king more than Aegon. But Aemond is that brother that understands the role he has to play. He is more like Daemon. They're literally a mirror to each other. Aemond and Daemon, as in Aemond has always wanted to be Daemon, and I think they're just in that particular place where they know that they cannot take the crown, but they can protect the crown on behalf of the people that they love, or rather the people they owe their allegiance to, their blood. Aemond is royal to the brother. Daemon is loyal to the niece/wife. Very weird, but hey, that's how they roll, And there's a reason why I thought this episode would be called Blood and Cheese, which is not the case. It's called A Son for a Son, which makes more sense because this is the episode that will set off the war completely. Because after Rhaenyra makes peace with the fact that the child she loved is gone, she comes back and she's like, I want Aemon. Daemon sets his journey back to Westeros, and he sets it up with the people who are called Blood, who is part of the soldiers that were protecting the city. I forget the name, and a guy called Cheese. He's just a sleazy guy, sleazy guy who knows his way around everywhere, I feel, in Westeros, including the castle. And the reason why it's called A Son for a Son is because a son is taken. Rhaenyra wanted Aemon, but they don't deal with Aemon. Instead, they take Aegon's son, the son that he had taken to the meetings. And it kind of diverges from the books because in the book it plays out more brutally than the show. And props to the show for making it more digestible because, offing off children is not something that is easy. Offing off anyone, but children is in particular. So it plays off a little bit different because I believe they had 3 children at the time, Aegon and the sister, the one that sees the future. She already had seen this coming because she's talking about rats. She's seen every disaster coming since she could talk. So she kind of saw this disaster coming, and her being forced to choose a son, or rather a child to take is not easy. And in the book, as I said, it played off more brutally because I think she had 3 sons, as I said, and during that time she was told to pick. And the son she picked, they didn't pick the son she had picked. She picked the other one, the one that she didn't want to die. So this other son grew up knowing that, hey, my mom chose me to die, Yeah, so I feel like the TV show handled it a bit better, way better than, yeah. You don't see the offing of the child, but you hear it. And I feel like that's really, really brutal. You hear it. You hear the sound of, because I feel like they had to take some evidence, and I'm thinking the evidence is the head. So you could hear the, yeah. So I'm thinking this is the episode that sets everything off. And I can't wait to see the next episode. I think the next episode 2, is slated to be the longest out of most the episodes that are about to come out in this season. So yeah, I think it came off really great. That was a good start. That was a great start. So yeah, let's wait and see what House of the Dragons has in store for us. I don't think this is supposed to be a long season. It's not supposed to be a long series. I think the 3rd season should be the last for them to also now start concentrating on other shows that they have slated. I'm supposed to do a video on that. I think the next season they're supposed to cover for the Targaryen tree is Aegon's conquest, which was the very beginning of the whole story, or rather the genesis of the Targaryen story. So let's see. As I said, House of the Dragons, or rather Game of Thrones entirely, is not like a particularly good story or bad story. It's mostly sad more than anything. And this now is the real Game of Thrones. Whatever happened before, like in the first season, wasn't like the legit Game of. Now this is the Game of Thrones, but between two parties instead of a couple of Nini houses, like the 7 whole houses. So yeah, the Starks are also introduced. I didn't mention it in the beginning, but as I've heard from other people, they play like a really big role here. And yeah, I think that the like a beginning of showing us the wall and them referencing the aspect of winter is coming was a good remembrance to what we knew from Game of Thrones, because winter was coming, season 8, and then season 8 became something else that we never want to talk about. But yeah, that was my very first episode review. I hope that explained my thoughts about it. Yeah, I hope it explained my thoughts about it. So